Welcome to Houdini. Here we are finally inside Houdini. Once you open Houdini, this is pretty much what you're going to be getting. And let's have a look at what we have on our user interface. So basically we have our menus bar, our shelf, which is a bunch of stuff here that you can see that automatically generates stuff on your 3D space. You have your 3D space, you have your toolbox here on the left, and you have your display options on the right. And then you have these two sections, which is where we're going to be doing most of the work, which is the parameter editor and the network editor. You can customize pretty much anything. You can generate your own user interfaces, save them. It's pretty easy to, for instance, if you want to switch the position of the parameter editor and the network editor, you just click here and it's going to switch. If you want to collapse one or expand, everything's pretty accessible and pretty intuitive, so you shouldn't have any trouble finding and defining your perfect workspace. There's also a bunch of presets here. By default, it's going to be launching with build. You can change that. I'm going to show you how you can do that. We're going to be working on something more like technical. It gives us quicker access to a bunch of tools like geometry spreadsheet. We'll talk about that later. This as well, the network view, which is also interesting, and it switches the order between these two. So find the one that you're most comfortable. It doesn't really matter for what we're doing as long as you know where things are. It's pretty much the same stuff. On the display settings, I'm just gonna have a look at this is where you can enable and disable the grid. And by default, Houdini comes with, when you launch Houdini here on the, I'm gonna press D to open the display options. Remember, this is going to be kind of context sensitive. Most of the keys are context sensitive, meaning that if you press D here, it's different from pressing D under the network view or the parameter view. So be aware of that. So here on the 3D view, if I press D, I can open the display options, and here on the guides, by default, you'll have an origin gnomon. It's basically just this gizmo. It's not really something that I like to have in my scene, so usually I just press D and disable that option. Other than that, it's a matter of enabling and disabling the grid. We'll keep it on since we don't have anything, just so we have an idea of the orientation. We also have the little gizmo here that really helps us out figuring out which direction we're looking at, and that's also a good thing. Now, if you want to change the default setup preset for your user interface when you launch Houdini, you can come here to Edit, Preferences, General User Interface, and you can say the Startup and Desktop, and you can choose the one that you have. By default, I have a split vert, which is something that I created for myself, but you can choose whichever one you want. We're going to be working mostly on technical. I'm going to leave it at technical for now. So let's talk a bit of navigation. Navigation inside Houdini is pretty straightforward. You can just click and drag with your left mouse button and you'll instantly be orbiting. You can click and drag with your middle mouse button and you're going to be panning, and you can click and drag with your right mouse button and you will automatically be zooming in and zooming out. So navigation is pretty straightforward. If you're used to holding Alt to activate navigation, you can. Doesn't really affect that much. In some situations, that's actually safer. You can also use the spacebar. It's also traditional for Houdini to actually use the spacebar instead of Alt for activating navigation. But right now, as you can see, you can navigate without holding any one of those buttons. If you press F, you kind of frame. If you press G, you kind of frame on selected. If you press H, you're gonna be going back to home. But I'll be mentioning all those shortcut keys whenever I use them.